So, after some time after the Tower of Babel happened, humanity separated and the world fell into idolatry and ungodliness once more. God then goes looking for someone to choose to be a great nation and make a covenant with. He then finds what happens to be the most faithful man on earth, named Abram, and God's like, Abram, you're the most faithful dude on the entire planet. Get up and leave this land and go into a new land, because I'm gonna make you a great nation and give you a great name, yo. And Abram's just like, sweet, I'm in. And then Abram takes his wife Sarai and his nephew named Lot with him into his journey, and they travel to Canaan and take up residence there. After some time, Abram goes to Egypt because a famine happens, and while he's there, he's actually really afraid that he'll be murdered because his wife is so pretty and good looking, he thinks they will kill him for her. So he lies and tells everyone that she's his sister, and everyone buys this lie. Pharaoh's like, sweet, that means she's up for grabs. He then takes her into her royal harem. God punishes this household by sending plagues. Pharaoh then finds out that Abram was actually married to Sarai. He then gives them a lot of money and tells them to leave before they cause any more trouble. Abram returns to Canaan and is now bawling with all this money he got from Egypt. But there is a legion of armies coming from the east attacking the kingdom of Sodom, where Abram's nephew Lot is now living, because his men could not live peacefully with Abram's men. So Abram takes 318 men and jumps these invaders and actually wins. After this, the king of Sodom recognizes Abram for his great deed, and a priest named Melchizedek blesses Abram with bread and wine. After some time after this, Abram goes home and God shows up to him once again to reassure him of his promise. He's all like, Yo, Abram, I just wanted to remind you your promise is going to happen and that you'll have descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. This is a good thing too that God reassured him, because Sarai can't get pregnant and she's getting older too. She really wants to give Abram a kid because he is still childless, and at this point he's like in his 70s to 80s. So Sarai convinces him to sleep with her servant named Hagar they got from Egypt to have a child for her. And Abram's like, okay, sure. And so they do it and have a kid named Ishmael. God then shows up to Abram yet again and tells him that there's a new requirement to their agreement. He's like, Yo, Abram, you and your descendants must now get circumcised, man, as a symbol of our everlasting covenant. Also, Sarai will have a son, and through him our promise will be fulfilled, not through Ishmael. Oh, and also there's one more thing you have to know. You have a new name now. Your new name is Abraham, which means father of many nations, and Sarai, her new name is Sarah, which means princess. So, after this, some years pass, and God visits its BFF named Abraham once again, but in this time he comes in the form of 3 men. They come and say this, In case you forget again, Abraham, Sarah's gonna have a son. Sorry, it's just God always reminding him. This is funny. And so Sarah laughs at this. She's like, hee, mainly because she's like 90 at this point, and that, far past childbearing age. God's like, don't laugh. It's going to happen, yo. And so after this, they go and travel to Sodom and Gomorrah to destroy the cities because they are so evil, God just wants them all gone. Abraham starts pleading with God not to destroy the cities because his nephew Lot is in there. He's like, Yo, God, if there's like 50 good people, will you spare it? And God's like, yeah, sure. Then Abraham keeps pleading until they get it to like around 10. He's like, Yo, will you spare if there's 10? And God's like, okay, sure. If there's 10 good people in there, I'll spare it. But you see, there actually wasn't 10 good people, so the city was going to be destroyed. But it's cool, because God then sends 2 angels disguised as men into the city to rescue Lot and his family, since they are the only, decent people in Sodom. And so basically Lot welcomes them. And after a while, all the men in the city gather around Lot's house because well, they want to gangbang the two angels disguised as men. And Lot's like, guys, that's disgusting, ill. But they don't hear him out because, they're in full lust mode. But it's cool because the angels decide to blind everyone there. And then they tell Lot and his family to get out of there. And once they leave the city, not to turn around or look behind them or they will die. And so, as they're escaping, the city is being destroyed by falling fire. And Lot's wife turns around and then turns into a pillar of salt. And then Lot escapes and lives in the mountains with his two daughters, who end up getting him drunk and taking advantage of him sexually because there are no other men around. Yes, this actually happens. So after this, some time passes, and then Sarah gives birth to her son, named Isaac. And all things are going pretty well until she starts hating Ishmael and Hagar and she convinces Abraham to send them away so they can't steal Isaac's blessing. And so the two of them are sent away and almost die in the desert until God sends them an angel and assures them that they will live and that Ishmael and his descendants will be a great nation on their own someday. So after this, time passes and then God visits his BFF Abraham once more and is all like, yo, Abraham, kill your son and make him a sacrifice to me, okay? Please, thanks, bye. And so Abraham's all like, wait, what? And so basically Abraham doesn't want to do it, but he is so faithful, he then proceeds to take Isaac to a mountain and puts him on an altar where he plans on, sacrificing him to God. And then God stops him and lets him know it's all okay, it's just a test of faith. He didn't actually have to murder his son. And Abraham's super relieved. After this, many years pass, and then Sarah dies. Sadly, she dies of old age. While Abraham is on his deathbed, he then decides that it's time for his 40-year-old son, Isaac, to, get married and actually have a family of his own. So then he sends his chief servant to travel to Assyria to find Isaac a wife. And so basically the chief servant travels there and then finds a super beautiful girl named Rebecca, and then brings her back where Isaac gets married to her. And then after they get married, Abraham dies soon after. And that was the life of Abraham.